Hello and welcome to a video. I have the camera facing a different way today, and so I don't know where to look, but I need to look right there. I'm doing a wrap up, which is something I've never done before. But we're doing it. And the reason I've never done it before is because I feel like I'm terrible at describing what books are about and also articulating my thoughts on them. So really, a wrap up would just be an incoherent ramble. So I decided to lean into that. Because guess what? Today is my birthday. So you know what we're adding to the mix? Prosecco. So I'm going to talk about these books. And every time I do a bad job of describing what they're about or what I think of them, I'm going to take a drink. And it's just going to get worse as we go along. Also, I'm just going to drink whenever I want because I want to. Okay, let's get started. First, we'll start with some stats. I haven't really looked at the list to think about summaries, so we're just going on the fly here. I read 16 books, and I think I'm going to finish another one today. It's the 30th. That's my birthday. I'm going to try, it's on my Magical Readathon TBR, so I have to finish it today. I'm going to finish it today. I'm going to finish it tonight. But this is a mess already. I don't know if I'm going to post this. I read 16 books. Perhaps it will be 17 by the end of the day, which is a total of 4,743 pages. An average of 296 pages per book, which is pretty low because I read all the Wayward Children series this month and those are short. Average rating of 4.0625. Which is pretty good, pretty solid, again, because I like the Wayward Children series, and that was half of the books I read. And I mostly read fantasy and adult on ebook. So, there we go, those are my stats. Okay, let's do the books. Okay, first book I finished in April was Home Before Dark. That was a long time ago. Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. It's 284 pages long. I could just read the stats on my spreadsheet. It was released in 2020 and it's a mystery thriller, adult, rated 3 stars ebook. This is a thriller. It has a green cover. It's about this lady has a house, or her parents have a house. She didn't grow up in this house. She lived in this house for a month, and then her family left mysteriously. And then her parents are dead now, and so she inherited the house, and she has to go back, and she's going to fix it up. But creepy things start to happen. Yeah. Oh, also, her dad wrote a book about the house and about why they left the house. And so it's interspersed with present day her shenanigans in this house versus excerpts from the book that he read about the month that they spent there and why they left. It was a sensationalist horror book and she thought it was all lies, but apparently maybe not. I think I did a pretty good job, but I'm going to drink anyway. I gave it 3 stars. I can't remember why. I think I was disappointed by the ending. It's a really good premise, and it was good through most of it, but I think I just didn't like how it all wrapped up. I don't know how I wanted it to wrap up, but I don't think I liked the way it did. Okay, moving on. Book number 2 is Comfort Me with Apples by Catherine. It's spelled Catherine M. Valente. This is a horror novella. It's an Adam and Eve situation with this lady who's my life is perfect, but she lives in this gated community, but then things are not as perfect as they seem. Ooh. It was fine. I gave it 4 stars. I think I liked it. I think it was good. I didn't have any complaints. It just was really short and not anything all that special. Next, I read Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger, which is a middle grade book, a middle grade fantasy that I read several years ago, and I'm rereading it now. I'm going to reread the series, I think. It was fun. I gave it 3.5 stars, apparently. I don't remember. what's it about? I need to drink in preparation. Okay, Sophie is an elf. But Sophie, is that her name? I think that's her name. Sophie is an elf, but she's been living with humans her whole life. And someone comes, she's a genius because she's an elf, and elves are smarter than humans and also prettier and also better. They're just, better than humans. They're like humans, but like with magic and also just smarter and prettier and better. Kind of feels like, I don't know, wish fulfillment. But anyway, she finds out she's an elf. She goes to this elf world, which is like the regular world, but like just the elf part of the world. And shenanigans ensue because she's like got information planted in her brain and people want to kill her and use her and try her for crimes she did actually commit. She gets tried for crimes a lot. Anyway, I gave it 3.5 stars. It was like, it's not the best middle grade, but it's fun. I had a good time reading it. It didn't come out, I guess it came out in 2012, says my spreadsheet, but it like holds up. And I enjoyed it. It was fine. Is this entertaining? I guess we'll find out. Next, Tilly and the Book Wanderers by Anna James. This is the first Pages & Co. book. It's about a girl whose name is Tilly. Her name is Tilly because it's in the title. And she lives at a bookstore that her grandparents run. And she starts seeing characters from books in her real life. Or in the bookshop, they like come to life. It's like Alice and Anne of Green Gables and like Alice and Anne of Green Gables. And then she goes into their worlds, into the stories. And she has adventures. And there's also a boy whose name is Oscar, maybe? Wow, I'm doing a really good job. I'm impressed with myself. Also, there's like some nefarious things going on, per usual. Next, I read that one and this next one on a train. Both of them. On my Kindle, on a train, all at once. Galatea by Madeline Miller. This is a really short story. It's 57 pages. It took me like half an hour. It is a retelling, that's the word, of, I presume, a myth. It's a myth where some dude sculpts. I'm not that drunk, I promise. I'm really not. I'm just, like, amped, Sculpt a sculpture, because that's how you make sculptures. You sculpt them. And she comes to life. And I don't think anything really happens. I don't really remember. Yeah, I don't really remember, but apparently I gave it 4 stars. I think it was fine. It just was, like, really short and, like, fine, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it was good. I liked it, I guess. Okay, next was Every Heart a Doorway by Shauna Maguire, the first in the Wayward Children series. This is a portal fantasy where children live in Earth, and then they go to magical worlds, and then they come back, and then their parents think they're crazy, so they send them to boarding school, and that's Eleanor West's Home for Wayward Children. And this book is set there, and some murders occur, and we see a quirky cast of characters who all went to different worlds and have different quirks, and some murders, some nefarious actions, some fun. It's fun. I gave it 4 stars. Most of the books I did this month I gave 4 stars, because I liked them. They were fine. Every Heart a Doorway, I think I liked it better than I did the first time I read it. This whole series was a reread. It's good. There's some good characters. It's, like, engagingly written. It's, like, an interesting, fun writing style. I liked it. Next, I read Down Among the Sticks and Bones, which is the next Wayward Children book. This one's about Jack and Jill, who go to the moors. It's their, like, origin story. They're characters from the first one. This is when they were going to the world for the first time. You see them grow up a little bit and then go to the world, and then I'm not going to spoil how it ends. But if you read the first book, then you know it's kind of spoiled in the first book, but not spoiled, just like revealed. So you know how it's going to end. But anyway, the moors is a cool world. Very horror movie-esque, which is what it's supposed to be. And I like Jack and Jill as characters. And I like the way they were set up, and I like the way it was written. I liked it. This is, I think, my favorite in the series. I gave it 4.5 stars. I think I gave it 5 stars the first time around, but I don't know. I guess I didn't vibe with it as much this time. The next one is Beneath the Sugar Sky, which is the third book. This one is about anyway, it's the third book. I liked it better this time than the last time. The last time I gave it 3 stars. It was my least favorite in the series. This time I gave it 4 stars. I liked it better. I think I paid more attention to it this time, and yet I still don't remember what it was about. It is in the candy world. What's the candy world called? No idea. Confection. It's in confection, mostly, kind of. You're, like, bringing someone who's dead back to life. The usual. It was fine. It's good. How many times I'm in this video am I going to say it was fine? Next, I read In an Absent Dream, book number 4 in the Wayward Children series. This one is actually my favorite. Not the second one. This one is my favorite. This one was 5 stars. This is set at the Goblin Market. It is a grand old time. It's about Lundy. And it's set at the Goblin Market, and it's a grand old time. And I wish it was longer. That's my only complaint. I wish it was longer. I wish Shawnee Maguire, I hope she would. I hope she will. I hope she will write a, like, expanded version of this book, because there's so much that's skipped over, and I would love all of the adventures in a full-length novel. Next, Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. This book is about Strange the Dreamer, and he dreams of a lost city called Weep, and he's a librarian, and I don't even know where to begin. I'm not even going to try. I guess I'm going to try. Okay. So Laszlo Strange is a librarian, and when he was little, he used to play that he lived in this city that had a name, and then suddenly the name got lost from everyone's memories, and the only thing in its place was Weep. He was like, ugh, Weep. But he, like, the mysteries of Weep. He wanted to learn the mysteries of Weep, and that's been his whole life's work, is learning about this lost city. And then someone comes from the lost city and is like, we have a problem. I'm establishing a delegation to solve this problem, this unknown problem in Weep. And he's like, can I please come, please? And they're like, okay, I guess. And then they go on a journey, and then the problem is revealed. But I'm not going to reveal it to you. I think that was pretty good. I loved this book. I thought it was really good. The characters are great. The plot is great. 5 stars. I don't have a ton to say about it because I don't know how to articulate my thoughts. Hiccup. But I liked it a lot. I thought it was really good. And I think if you're a fantasy person or like a flowery writing person or both, you should read it. It's quite good. I need more. Let's see. My $10, it was $12. $12 bottle of Prosecco. There we go. Bubbly. Okay, next. Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. This I listened to on audiobook. Strange the Dreamer I also listened to on audiobook. This is a Greek myth retelling of Ariadne, the Greek myth lady. She's a lady from a Greek myth. What happens? I don't really know. There's the Minotaur at the beginning, and then he like kind of goes away after a while, and then it's about her and her just like living. I don't know how to describe it without spoiling anything. But she just like, you just like follow her and her life and her shenanigans. And it's pretty good. I gave it 4 stars. I really remember nothing about it. But it was a fun time. Okay, next. The worst book of the month was The Souvenir Museum by Elizabeth McCracken. McCracken. That's a fun name. McCracken. My name could be Elizabeth McCracken. It's not, but it could be. This is a short story collection that I picked out because the Magical Readathon, one of the prompts was short story collection, and I just like picked a random one that seemed interesting and had a balloon dog on the cover, and I was like, that's kind of cool. This was kind of bad. Like, it wasn't that bad. I gave it 2.5 stars. Some of the stories were interesting. Some of the stories were okay. Some of them were not. They were boring. And I didn't understand. But there was, like, this running, like, theme, like, thread, running character throughout several of the stories. There was this, like, ventriloquist who then meets this lady, and they, like, I don't know, it like follows them through their lives kind of, and that was like kind of okay. And then there were a couple other stories that were okay, but I don't really remember any of them besides the ventriloquist guy. And yeah, it was fine. It was fine. Not great though. Not fine in the way that the 4 stars have been fine. It was like fine. Okay, that was that. Next. We're getting to the end, kind of. Back to the Wayward Children series. Come Tumbling Down is book number 5 of the series. This one was the one I remembered the least about when I went to reread it. I was like, I have no idea what's going to happen in this book. Theoretically, I've read it before, but I do not remember. And yeah, it's about... Have I forgotten again? Oh, it follows off the end of what happened in one of the previous books, so I kind of can't really tell you, but it's back with Jack and Jill in the moors. Or not in the moors. They're partially in the moors. And they're doing some things. And it's kind of all spoilers because it's the 6th book. Fifth book in the series. So I'm just gonna drink. I give it 4 stars. I thought it was good. I don't really remember. Next. This was not that long ago. This was a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. Do not remember. Okay. Next. Across the Green Grass Fields by Shauna Maguire. Book number 6 in the Wayward Children series. This is a horse girl fantasy wish fulfillment novel. It is like 100% just for the horse girls out there. And I'm kind of here for it. I thought it was pretty good. It's about a girl. It's like completely standalone based on the others. Like you don't have to have read the others to read this one. It's about a girl who goes to a horse world. And there's horses there. And she can talk to them and ride them. And there's centaurs and unicorns and other horse creatures. It's called the Hooflands because they all have hooves. Imagine that. It was fine. It's pretty good. I gave it 4 stars. I think I liked it better this time than the last time. The last time I was like, what the heck is this horse girl fantasy whatever? Like, what is this? This time I was like, yeah, horse girl fantasy whatever. I can pretend to be a horse girl for 2 hours or however long it takes me to read this. It was fine. Next. That was me pressing the down arrow key on my spreadsheet, even though I don't actually really need to. You know a thing that happened this week? Was that 5 of the keys on my keyboard just stopped working for like 4 days. or maybe 5 days, 5 keys for 5 days. And then they suddenly started working again, and it was G, H, apostrophe, up arrow, and Alt. And most of those didn't bother me, except that I use Alt Tab to switch between windows, and that was like, it kept just tapping, and I was like, but the G and the H, I was typing without G and H for like 5 days, and it was really obnoxious. I couldn't say ha. And I say ha all the time because I'm a laughing gal, and it was just ah. And I don't want that. And I couldn't say my own name, Elizabeth Ardner. Anyway, I'm glad that they suddenly decided to work again. Next, Nevermore, The Trials of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. This book was really good. It's a middle grade. It's a fantasy. It was really fun. I liked it a lot. It was 4 stars, but maybe like a 4.5, honestly, because I really liked it. I thought it was really good. Am I going to officially change it to a 4.5 right now? Ooh, hiccup. Yes. 4.5. And maybe let me change it over here too. 4.5. Nice. Okay. This book is about Morrigan Crow, who lives in a city, and then she's cursed. She's a cursed child, and she's gonna die on Eventide. But then, do I tell you what happens? She doesn't die. I don't know if that's a spoiler, but she doesn't die. And she goes on adventures, and it's quite fun. I liked it a lot. There are trials, as suggested by the title, The Trials of Morrigan Crow. It's fun. Good vibes. Next. And lastly, though I'm going to talk about the book I'm currently reading as well, because I think I'm going to finish it today. If I don't just, knock out and take a nap. No, that was the last one I talked about. Muse of Nightmares. This is the sequel to Strange the Dreamer, which I talked about 5 minutes ago. This is about... I can't tell you, because it would just be spoilers. But there's a lot to world-bending, portal, fabric of the universe, timey-wimey type stuff. It's quite fun. I liked it. 5 stars. Are we done? I think we're done. Cheers. Oh no, I said I was going to tell you about the one I'm currently reading. That is The Shadows by Alex North. It is a horror novel. I'm reading it on my Kindle and also with the audiobook. I'm kind of switching back and forth, whatever I feel like doing. It is about some murders and some weird dream stuff. There's some cult cult stuff going on. Cult stuff and some murders. And I don't really know where it's gonna go. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it. It's okay, pretty good so far. It is something that needs a strong ending to be good. But it's pretty creepy. It's pretty good so far. Okay, now we're done. Cheers. I'm gonna eat some pasta and tiramisu. Okay, if you're watching this, if I end up posting it, I hope you enjoyed. I hope it was entertaining. Let me know if you would like me to do this again next month. And comment down below if you have read or want to read any of the books I read today, or if you have any recommendations for me, or if you just want to say hi, I would appreciate that. Or you can tell me happy birthday because it's my birthday. It's not my birthday when you're watching this, but it's my birthday when I'm filming it, and it'll probably still be my birth week when you're watching this, depending on how fast I edit it. So you can say happy birth week. Okay. Bye.